Okay, our first writer is Kevin Burris. Like most people, Kevin lives in one far-flung arm of a spiral galaxy orbiting the central mass of a large black hole. He has spent a not insignificant portion of his allotted time trying to describe this experience. He has a wife and dog who sometimes snore. He is afraid of doctors. He should be afraid of his wife after that, too. He has lived long enough to see Spider-Man swing from the pages of a 12-cent comic book onto Netflix. Recently, the good people at Future Cycle Press were kind enough to publish his first book of poetry, The Happiest Day of My Life, which are for sale up there at, I think it was $12. So he says, so far, so good. Kevin, where are you? Please come on up.
Thanks, Kevin. And thanks, Ann. Okay, let's get collected here. I'd like to read first some selections from my new book, The Happiest Day of My Life, available at Future Cycle Press, Amazon, and from the trunk of my car at a significant discount tonight. Since it is so close to Halloween, I thought I'd begin with a scary poem. When I was young, there were quite a few things to be frightened of. Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Mummy, my Aunt Irene at the piano. This is called Aunt Irene at the piano. Aunt Irene at the piano. There are small, smoky clubs in hell where she's in heaven. 3 shows a night, no intermission. After each soul-sucking day shoveling sulfur, the damned troop in. They settle at the beer-stained bar on wooden stools with one leg short. They order their watered-down shots, chain-smoke-free cigarettes. At her untuned Steinway Grand, she caterwauls the length and breadth of Tin Pan Alley's vaudeville catalog, damaging notes and crippling melody, the way disease attacks a host. It's her regular gig for good, so to speak. In every dark dive, where the lost lean eternally toward the door and closing time. And as long as we're bar hopping, I thought we could visit the Blue Note. This next poem, live at the Blue Note, features Carmen Miranda, the original Latina bombshell. Before there was Shakira, before there was Charo, before there was J-Lo, there was Carmen. It also mentions a song called On Green Dolphin Street by Miles Davis. Also Dracula. Live at the Blue Note. Stalking heat like a bride of Dracula, she flutters on a jazz blue breeze. Blonde and bumptious, up to the porch light tap. In a swarm of suburb suns, she is queen, slinging smiles and D-cups like eggs at a hash house breakfast bar. She lights a cigar, her languid hips drifting, sweet as Cuban smoke, past the saxophone's note. Coochie, coochie, Carmen. Miranda blows a kiss behind her long-necked beer, where her fingers tease and peel, a label like a tongue, as the band cooks, night into promises of maybe and maybe not. She starts fires with a wink and burns down every house on Green Dolphin Street. The next poem is a seasonal poem, just not this season. It's called Rainy Sidewalks by the Seine. Rainy sidewalks by the Seine. What's her name? Claudine Langeais, chanteuse, who shot a ski bum in the stomach, wife of Andy Williams, used to coo rainy sidewalks by the Seine, your co-host of the Andy Williams Christmas special. Artist, mother, adulteress, murderer. I'd like to draw one drop from that dark well, those rainy sidewalks by the river, cobblestones I've never seen, the streets of Paris. I don't even know if they exist outside her musing contralto, but here they are again, soaked in a mist of jazz guitar, a little Mingus moving on bass. I see raindrops on new black leather, her shoes as she walks, the surging surface of the water, a slow, steady scat, wrought iron, not too much color in the grass. It's early May, and the world is a broken heart. Ex-con now, or dead, she is forever, far from miniskirts, Santa Claus, the soft spring rain she sang, the sidewalks, the Seine. The next poem is kind of an ode to the bathroom. What can I say? Your $5 are gone, folks. Flushed away. Bathroom Zen. Love the way the cloth says cheeseburger, cheeseburger, as it cleans the glass. Love the limpid depths of the mirror. Love the bird whose song is a rusty gate and the mysterious fog in stainless steel. Love the bug with no name, the way fresh mud catches a stone. Love the well-read look of magazines, as ants might love a peony. Love the patient devotion of the dressing table. Love the spark, the brassy pride of polished knobs like luteous doodles of fireflies. Love the fortitude of porcelain. Love the bright plumage of a prism on an old tile wall. Love it all. The squeal of the cloth, the mirror's laughter. Next poem is called Morning Dove. Morning Dove. A song like the wind on its hinge, slowly swinging, ushers us into our days. We groom our hair, brush teeth, test memories in the mirror. We make lists, gather the hours ahead like stones, and carry them in our pockets. Because we feel this weight, because we know gravity as the urge to fly. Sometimes, at sunrise, we close our eyes and listen. The next poem is called Among the Eloi. In the future of H.G. Wells's The Time Machine, the human race evolves into two branches, the Morlocks, who are zealously non-vegan, and the Eloi, who are sort of stoically optimistic. Sox fans and Cubs fans, if you know. So, among the Eloi. Here in the moment, all things are possible. I can hear the thin voice of a bluebird warble its best piccolo. I can see the sunset from Mykonos, or feel the slow waltz of continents. There is time enough for everything here. Time for the long, easy conversation I never had with my father. Time for the celebratory beer with Mom after the last out in the last game of the Cubs World Series victory. There is time for that fat, flat maple leaf, cartwheeling through rush hour, and time for me, nested here, in the tall tree of Sunday's Standard coffee shop, the view from my window, infinite as a sunny day. I'd like to read a couple of new poems now to finish. The first is called The Riverman. It was written after watching a documentary about Martin Lytton, who first took a cruise down the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon in 1955. The Riverman. The end, put in upstream, defined a certain scorn for surprise. His long, slow descent into a canyon, a boat packing the debris of a life. He set a lean camp at bottom on a small split of cooling sand beside the muddy rush of the river. Rocks, red strata, and bands marked a planet's vast transit through its riverbed in time. A one-man dory running rapids lit small fires in his eyes that burned late into the evening, mirrored stars above the rim. They cast sparks of sun on water in the morning when rangers found him. I spent a large part of my life in manufacturing in factories with factory people who become kind of family. This poem's for them. It's called Factory Birds. Factory birds peck at the remnants of the 2 o'clock break. First shift's 10 minutes at a picnic bench. They flock in pools of fluorescent light beside the chattering roar of an old compressor. They table hop and flutter for crumbs between the time clock and the cinder block slab of a grease-stained paint booth until a shift bell's hammering mercy breaks another workday's spell. They ascend again to the rafters, the windowless shadow of industrial perch, high above the highest stacked pallets. There in that strata of heat and dust, where exhaust fans hum incessants, above the drive of 8 production lines, the forklift whines, the drilling and riveting, the chalkboard screech of a sonic welder. They flit and dive, live their captive lives, and flying beneath the metal of a corrugated sky, somehow still manage to sing. Thank you.